Epilepsy is a neurological disorder that can cause seizures.
Epilepsy.
Have seizures and epilepsy.
Seizures.
My name is Michaela. I'm 23 years old, and I am also an epileptic. So I have simple partial seizures in my right temporal lobe. There are over 40 different types of seizures you can have, and not many people know that. Mine are simple partial in my right temporal lobe, which is right here. I got transferred to Stanford in the South Bay, and I went a few times, did a few studies. They didn't really fully know what was going on. They thought maybe it was a throat mobility problem, just because my symptoms were so weird. At this point, 17, 18, I'm 19 now, and they just, at the end, they really were like, not quite sure. We think it's maybe your vagus nerve. And so I was like, okay. And I'm the type of person that when I get told something, I want to know everything about it. So I asked my general practitioner back home if I could see a neurologist. She was a little hesitant, but I explained that I really think it'd be good for me. It would really ease my mind if I could learn more about my vagus nerve. So I got the referral. 2 days later, I was in to see a neurologist, and I went in wanting to learn about the vagus nerve. And she was asking me what my symptoms were. I was telling her my symptoms, and she goes, "I think you have epilepsy." And I'm like, "You're crazy. I'm not having seizures." Because at the time, like most people in my head, I think of seizures the way movies and TV portray them, on the ground, flopping like a fish. And she said, "No, I think you really are. Have you ever had a brain scan?" I said no. And so literally the next day I was getting an MRI. That same day I got a call from her, and it turns out that I had a brain tumor in my right temporal lobe. Very small. And of course, my first reaction is, oh my god, I'm dying. I have a brain tumor. But she said, yeah, you're having epilepsy. You have epilepsy, you're having seizures. And I didn't freak out. It wasn't until I'd say a few months later that it really actually hit me. But I got put on medication that same day. So literally within a week of me asking my primary care doctor if I could see a neurologist, within a week I was diagnosed with epilepsy, which is just insane. My seizures, I get a thing called an aura, which I feel very lucky to have. It's kind of like a warning sign of you're about to have a seizure. So I would say usually 5 to 10 minutes beforehand, I'll get this aura. And the feeling of it is just like something's not right. I can't put my finger on it, but something's just not feeling right. And within a few minutes, I feel kind of confused. I know where I'm at always. I'm at home. I'm at the hospital. I can say where I'm at. I never have lost full consciousness. I just feel like a little confused. Can't quite put my finger on it. Sometimes my pupils get really big. I'll start stuttering. So it's like I got the words in my head, I just like can't get them out. I'm trying to convey, but I just start stuttering really bad. I don't know why, but just like my right shoulder, it'll kind of start twitching. What originally made them think it was GI is the biggest symptom I get. Manifestation is stomach uprise. The best way I can explain it is when you're going down on a roller coaster and you get that like uprise feeling. It's like that, except for literally never ending for like 2 minutes. You know, when you're on a roller coaster, it's like 5 seconds. But imagine that for like 2 minutes straight. It's stomach uprise. I feel nauseous, like I'm gonna throw up. I start sweating. I get very, kind of twitchy. Yeah, that's usually it. Really bad ones. The really bad ones I kind of have like minor ones. And then really bad ones, it's what they call a feeling of impending doom. So it just, it's like I get an aura and then I start sweating. My heart's like going 160. I'm like fidgety. I start like pacing around. Whenever you have a seizure, people want you to sit down, but I gotta get up. And I get nauseous and the stomach uprise, and I just feel so hot. I get like so flushed. And the impending doom, what it is, it feels like the walls are closing in. I know who I am. I know who you are. I know where we're at. I'm just having this absolutely terrible feeling. And if I had to describe what it feels like death. It is the worst feeling ever. And I get so scared when I start to have one. I've had probably hundreds at this point from when I wasn't diagnosed. But every time, it's just terrible. But I just tell myself when it's happening, you're gonna get through it. It's gonna be fine. If it's, I say like small seizure, bigger seizure, if it's a really bad one, that has lasted a couple minutes, I'm just like exhausted after. It's a lot mentally, it's a lot physically. If I'm at home, I'm just gonna go to bed. Good night. I'm gonna go relax. But really, realistically, like, if I have one, and then, like, I have a glass of water and just kind of chill, I could be fine within, like, 20 minutes. I just need to, like, calm down from this terrible episode. So I'd say, like, 15 minutes, 20 minutes, I could. Usually, I just, like, want to go take a nap, but, yeah, not long. I feel lucky when it comes to that. I can rebound and recover pretty fast. There's just electrodes connected to my head. It tracks my brain waves. This is the battery packed to it that I have to carry around. Terribly. The media, yeah, just terribly. I wish that they did it better, because it would inform people. If they had different types of epilepsy on TV, in movies, in the media, people would know more. That's where we get a lot of information, is through the media, TV, movies, the internet, social media, and it could be life-saving. And you could also know what the signs are, because it's not always falling on the ground. I don't fall on the ground. I've never fallen on the ground. I don't lose consciousness. If I was walking down the street and I started having a seizure, you'd probably think I was like on drugs. But I'm not. I'm having a seizure. No, even before I got diagnosed, I'm not a big medical drama person. My whole family's in the medical field, and I'm in the medical field. And so when I watch medical dramas and they're just doing stuff wrong, it drives me nuts. So I just don't. But of course, I've seen things, you're flipping through the channel and there's a medical drama on and you watch it and there's a seizure on, or you're in a theater and a movie has someone having a seizure, and that's what I do every time. I'm like, bro, come on.
Push 1 mil of Ativan stat. Mrs. Carpenter, we need you to sign off on this.
What the hell happened?
She had a seizure and her heart stopped.
You were supposed to be monitoring.
You're seizing? This isn't right. Midazolam, 4 milligrams.
What do you think? Seizing or dancing?
Seizing.
Playing the B side is even worse. Schedule an OR for the biopsy.
He said he was stable. Barry.
Oh my god, oh my god, oh my god. What's happening to her? Make sure she stays on her side to keep her airway clear. Do not stick your fingers in her mouth.
A few times. I just find it annoying. Worst thing actually just happened a few months ago. I've had epilepsy for 4 years now. It was just a few months ago. I was rooming. I'm a medical assistant, so I was rooming a guy. And he asked what my bracelet was for. And I said, oh, I have epilepsy, so I have to wear it. And he goes, they let people like that work here? And I'm like, being professional, but I'm like what? He's like, let disabled people work here in the hospital? They let disabled people work here? I'm like, yes, I'm very capable. I don't go yelling from a rooftop that I have epilepsy. But when people do find out, they're kind of like weirded out. Like, they don't think I'm capable now. Like, they could have known me my whole life, and then they find out and they're like, are you capable? You've known me my whole life. Yes, I'm capable. I've actually had epilepsy for 4 years, and you didn't think anything of it until you just found out. Everyone's seizures are different. That means everyone's triggers are different. Mine are lack of sleep, stress, just not in general taking care of myself. Which that sounds very broad and vague. When it comes to sleep, it's not like, oh, I didn't sleep well last night, I'm gonna have a seizure now. It's like days in a row. Like, oh, I've slept like 2 hours a night for 7 days in a row. And it's like my threshold lowers. And I can feel the threshold lower. It's just like I feel more susceptible to having a seizure. I've been eating like shit for weeks, for days in a row, for 4 days now. My threshold is lowering. I know I'm more susceptible to having a seizure. That's the whole thing of how to deal with your stress, and I do that in different ways. Talking about it, exercise, which is also important for epilepsy, being artistic, just any way that someone would deal with their stress. I just really have to make sure I do, and I don't hold on to grudges. Sleep well, eat well, I follow this thing called a FODMAPs diet, which is a diet that I have followed with a nutritionist, just again because I've had stomach problems in the past. So that plays a lot into it of my diet. I've been lucky. I grew up in a family that eats fairly healthy. It's just how I grew up. And so, you know, if I want a piece of cake tonight, so I'm not going to eat this ice cream now, or I've already eaten a lot of sugar, I'm going to pass on, you know, eating sugar tonight. I've had McDonald's today, I'm not going to have Chick-fil-A later. Everything just in moderation. I don't drink. I don't do drugs. My neurologist, she said it's hard for people that do drink and then they gotta learn not to if that's one of their triggers. Again, I'm pretty lucky because I never have drank. I'm not against people that do. It's just, I have numerous reasons as to why I don't, and it's just never been my thing. I like to try drinks, you know. I'll try wine here, a cocktail here. I just haven't found anything that I like a lot. And I know this makes me sound like a stick in the mud, but I'm not. I'm fun. I'm cool. Multiple reasons as to why I don't drink, why I never have as a teenager. And now as a young adult, my biggest reason at the moment is my epilepsy. Getting drunk. Nothing at this point is worth having a seizure because they just suck. So I don't drink. You know, all these things, they're just everything that we should do in general. Everybody should do. Eat healthy, sleep well, drink lots of water. Don't overly drink. So, I mean, these are all just things. The only difference is if you don't do it, probably fine. Try again tomorrow. If I don't do it, potentially have a seizure. So I've had a great life and a great childhood, but that has not been free of difficulties, multiple difficulties that only my family knows about, that others do not. But I refuse to let those difficulties define me and, you know, affect my future. That being said, you know, epilepsy is the same. I'm not gonna let it dictate my future. And of course I've had my pity parties and been upset and think, you know, why me? But then you look at people with even worse, you know, problems in their life and you're reminded of how lucky you are. There's people that don't know why they have epilepsy. They take medication and it does not work. They have hundreds a day. I've had probably hundreds since I was 17. They have hundreds a day. And so I'm lucky in the sense, okay, I have a brain tumor. That's what's causing it. I have a brain tumor and it's benign and not growing. How lucky are you to have a brain tumor that is benign? You take medication. It took time to figure out, you know, try this medication, doesn't work, try this medication, doesn't work, put them together, yada yada, trying different medications. But I finally did find the combination that does work. And how lucky am I that I have medication that works. The only difference is it's caused a little anxiety at times, and I have to take medication, and once a year I get a brain MRI for my brain tumor and go to a few appointments. But other than that, you know, nothing's changed. I go to school, I go to work, I go on vacation, I go on adventures, I drive, I go for my dreams. You know. Good morning. I don't go talking about my personal life, but I'm the type of person where if you ask me questions, I will answer. I'm private to myself, but if you are curious about something, I've always been open, and I'm the same when it comes to epilepsy. And no question is stupid. I have friends and family friends and coworkers, and I actually like it when they ask questions when they find out I have epilepsy. Like when someone actually sits down and wants to learn about it, it makes me feel good. It makes me happy. I'm not like, oh, stop talking about it. More happy that you're talking about it than someone that doesn't ask any questions, because it shows that you do care and you want to know about what is a big part of my life. And so it makes me feel good. So if we can have more people like that, even if you don't know someone that's epileptic, it'd be good, because you never know. Every day I learn something new. You know, every day, every time I have a seizure, I learn something new. And I never would have thought, you know, considering it's been 4 years diagnosed, was it 6 years having seizures, that there's more to learn, but there's always more to learn. So I'm always learning, and if I can pass on what I know, and then they can pass that on to someone else, you know, and it's a safer place in the world for epileptics.